Good morning, my name is Gerald B. Rockbarte, BSHM2 Section 2, and today I'm gonna explain the 8 fundamental truths about tourism. Tourism that has been considered as an industrial activity because it is constantly improving to address its problems. It is also consume resources like land resources to build infrastructure that might endanger the environment. And by building this, it will also create many needs like the needs of roads and electricity. And if that is complete, the arrival of the tourists will also increase. And the tourists who consume the product may create waste. Example, in Boracay, there are many street vendors that offer food and beverage. There are also fast food that people take out their food. So, as people buy their product, there is always people who do not obey the rules and did not put their garbage in the right way. So, it creates waste. As we, the consumer of these resources, there are chances when we are overconsumed. The degradation in tourism is rarely catastrophic, so it is like a disease that can affect its surroundings and can rapidly occur in large areas. These resources, such as land resource, like space on the land, trees, and soil, because mostly it is for building infrastructure. Example, building infrastructure in the near the beach. It consumes space on the land and consume lumber near the areas to build shelter. So it might affect the environment surrounds it. In tourism is an competitive activity in acquiring resources to ensure the survival of the business from other competitors, and whomever the one who gains supremacy will gain more profit and the other will gain less. So it is like a battle for survival, and it was to ensure the survival of the business in the long run. Example, a competition in acquiring land space to build facilities near the beach of Boracay. And whomever, the one who gained the nearest and the most desirable environment, will gain more profit than the other competitors. Means that the tourism is a private sector industry and the decision was not in the government but in the ability of that business to gain more profit. And the decision for investment was on them whether to decide on implementing on profit center like swimming pool or in cost center like housekeeping. In this, the government plays an important role to ensure that they operate economically and to mitigate the adverse impacts. Example, in deciding whether to invest in implementing profit center like swimming pool or cost center like housekeeping. It's up to that business where to invest, and it was not decided by the government but on that business. Tourism is a diverse industry that needs of suppliers, producers, travel agencies to operate. Therefore, there are cases where the government gain control over the tourism activities. So it creates confusion of who was the one who gained wide range of control over the tourism activities. Example, in transportation industry, there are many travel agencies that own it, but there are cases where the government gain control over it because they have the authority to decide whether that agency can operate or not. We can assume that tourist is like a researcher or an anthropologist. We can compare them because tourist is a pleasure seeker. Above all, they are consumer. They seek not to be burdened with concern while they are on travel. So we can expect them to exhibit proper behavior while they are on travel because they go on travel to enjoy themselves and to have fun. Example, in consumption of alcohol in a bar. We can't limit their consumption because they go on the bar to drink and enjoy themselves. Especially in a form of cultural and environmental tourism, and in order to satisfy their needs and wants, we tend to implement entertainment to the visitors, like cultural activities, and its objective is to give enjoyment to the public and attract more tourists. Example, implementing a dance or singing competition in heritage areas like Taal Batangas so that it can attract more visitors. Tourism cannot exist in a social isolation from its host community. Therefore, the interaction between the locals and the tourists must occur because it is like a win-win strategy for both locals and the tourists because tourism will gain more profit from its tourists rather than exporting its product. Example, civet coffee in Mount Apo. Many tourists visit it to try it while viewing the great scenery of mountain. So they gain more profit from its visitors rather than exporting the product.